Hello Pisces, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have a princess or page of swords. Interesting. Something that we might be resisting. Something that we might be trying to kind of, defend ourselves against, or something that we're rejecting. But let's, oh wow, okay. Mercury, magician energy. Oof. Thank you. I was worried we were going to get even more air energy around us. This is spooky here. I feel almost as if this Mercury energy, this divine wisdom, this communication from Spirit is trying to get through to you, but I feel like we're just kind of, for whatever reason, we're resisting it. Yeah, gosh, look at, we have so much air energy here. The thing that really stands out to me, obviously, is this Emperor energy right here. That is the strong fire kind of energy. Let's select a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and this is the card that we are going to set aside randomly, and we're going to put our frog friend, Mr. Bates, aka Kevin, right there on top of that. Now, we're not going to look at that until the very end, okay? And hopefully that will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. And I like doing a little interactive thing where we'll pause the video and we'll all try to see if we can intuit that card, right, together as kind of an exercise. Anyway, first we have to look at these energies. We have major, major, major. Okay, no fire. We have no water. We've got air, and air. A lot of air. Lot of air energy. And we have a little bit of earth energy here too. Right off the bat, I feel like Spirit is really trying to get a message through to you. I feel as if, for whatever reason, we're kind of resisting it, though we really need it. Okay? I think you need this kind of spiritual guidance. We need to open ourselves up to this Mercury influence. Now, it could be that Mercury here, because Mercury is the messenger of the spirit world, right? But sometimes there may be a little bit of mistrust. It's one of those things where, is this really Spirit giving me a message, or is this my own mind kind of playing a trick on me? That's what we're in the middle of, I think, okay? I think we're trying to decide. Look at this. We have a 4 of swords and an 8 of swords. Obviously, I think the 4 is better than the 8. But neither of them are very good. Okay? This is kind of not an active conflict, but not really very trusting either. And the 8 up here, this is, well, we have convinced ourselves that we are powerless. We have convinced ourselves that there's no progress that can be made. This maybe is us resisting this communication, this message. And now this message could be coming in the form of psychic events, psychic activity, paranormal events, right? Synchronicities. It could be something you experience in prayer or meditation or ritual. It could be that throughout your life right now, you're experiencing what you want to interpret as spiritual messages. Okay? Seeing numbers, seeing certain words repeated, seeing certain colors that stand out, seeing strange, odd things here and there, novelty, oddities. But for some reason, we're not quite trusting it, right? We're not quite trusting this. What happened in the recent past? What happened? What is this Four of Swords about? I feel like maybe we trusted in something in the past that could be that we thought it was a message from Spirit, a divine kind of message, a synchronicity, a sign. Could be that we misread the sign, right? No one's fault. We just maybe mistranslated it. We couldn't decrypt it properly. Okay? And maybe it led to some not as successful events, right? The outcome wasn't quite what we thought it was going to be when we followed that sign. It kind of it led us in not the right direction necessarily. Okay. So this is us being okay with that, saying, okay, I misinterpreted the message, I couldn't decrypt or interpret the symbol the right way. That's fine. But now we're a little bit more skeptical when we get this kind of thing again. We're starting to doubt, right? We've got this Princess or Page of Swords. We're trying to say, no, thank you. I can do it on my own. Maybe that's why we've got the Emperor here. Maybe because we feel like, no, thank you, Magician Mercury. I'm not falling for that trick again. I'm going to do this all by myself. Because we kind of were led astray a little bit in the past. See, we got these two. I feel like with this Four of Swords that you were very trusting in the past, and we saw certain signs and we believed what we believed about them. That we were a little bit misled by something. Now, maybe this isn't Spirit necessarily. Maybe you don't think of things that way, right? Maybe this is Spirit manifesting in certain relationships. Maybe in a particular relationship, maybe a romantic relationship, a family, friendship, a business thing, maybe you were too trusting. Maybe it led you astray. Now, when someone or something is trying to tell you the good news, you're saying, not again. I'm not falling for this now. So we're very much resistant to any kind of magical communication. Anyone that tells you something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. You're rejecting it. We're being very skeptical, which is good. Everybody needs a healthy dose of skepticism. Okay? But too much skepticism could bring us to this Eight of Swords. Where, see, this is Jupiter now in Gemini. So with the Jupiter in Gemini, this is too much analysis. This is too much skepticism, too much, picking things apart, splitting hairs, and really we're getting a little bit tangled up in our thought process. And that's not going to help us get to this Emperor. This Emperor is in charge. This is the boss. This is activity. This is kind of, the future. This is creation. This is progress, right? This is the brightest card, right? It kind of, it has some echoes in this Ace of Swords over here. All of these cards kind of have a little bit of a hint of the yellows and stuff that are in. You can learn a lot just by looking at the colors here, right? All of these cards have a little bit of the Emperor hue, but they're overpowered by these blues, by these darker, cooler colors, right? We really want to activate this Emperor. but we're not quite getting there. The closest we get is kind of with this Ace of Swords. This is the card that kind of, if you just kind of blur your eyes, squint, cross your eyes a little bit, that's the card that kind of comes the closest to that same kind of color palette, right? These two are kind of the furthest away. Because I think that these reinforce each other. Now, it could be that, yes, we were too trusting of someone or something in the past. This doesn't have to be so metaphysical, right? This doesn't have to be spiritual or mystical in any way. All right? If you don't think that way, if that's not how you work, that's fine. This is a situation where, because of this Four of Swords in the past, being too trusting, being led down the wrong path, right? That we're being very skeptical and cautious now. But sometimes our skepticism, our overthinking, our overanalysis can lead to even more failure. This is the Seven of Pentacles. This is the key word here is failure. This is a lot of effort being put into things that don't pan out. So we don't want to get here again. But I feel like we're keeping ourselves locked into this by rejecting everything outright. We're rejecting, that's what the Princess of Swords does, just rejects. Doesn't try to think about anything, just says no. And that's all right. But I think we need to mature this energy a little bit. And that's why we've got the Queen of Swords down here. Okay? The Queen of Swords is someone who can get a deeper kind of intuitive knowledge about what's going on. Doesn't just reject the message right away. Doesn't just say no, 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 no. And that kind of prevents our progress, right? But someone who can listen to their inner voice, can kind of can sort things out a little bit differently, has a little bit of a higher perspective. See, they've risen above the clouds there. They can kind of see things from that bird's eye view. A different perspective, right? This is a maturing of our skepticism now. It's not just skepticism as in complete denial of everything, but skepticism that's saying, okay, I'm going to suspend judgment. Right? I'm not going to reject everything right away, but I'm not going to accept everything immediately either. And I think this is taking back a little bit of our power because we're not in either extreme. We're not in extreme, almost gullibility, accepting everything. But we're not in extreme skepticism either, rejecting everything. It's a nice, healthy balance. I think that's how we get to the power of this Emperor. Now, I feel like this Mercury energy is Spirit sending you a message. I don't know what the message is. I wonder if this is a almost a test call, right? We're just testing the phone lines here. Just want to see if you answer, see if you are in these extreme energies. Right? The energy from the universe is going to continue to come into you. People are going to tell you things. You're going to see things through your eyes, hear through your ears, all this stuff. You're always receiving data. Right? That's Mercury. That's the magician. There's constant data. It's up to us to assume our power and authority to understand the message, to sift through all of this data, right? To figure out for ourselves what is truth, what is falsehood. Okay? Because Mercury is all of it. With Mercury, with the magician, there is no truth and falsehood. Right? The magician is above that. But the way we receive it, the way we interpret it and transmit it to the earth plane, it's either truth or falsehood. It's either success or failure. It's either good information or it's garbage, right? So we're trying to get to this Emperor energy, our discernment, our strength, our authority, our ability to sift through this data and extract the kernels of wisdom from this magician energy, from our senses, from our intuition, from all of it, that are going to lead us to success, that are going to get us out of this state of kind of pessimism here. Now, in the environment, we have the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, I think, in this position this is the real message that Spirit is trying to communicate to you. Right? This is yes, it's this massive data, and it's our task to extract the kernels of wisdom. But there's a larger message, and this is about us suspending our judgment of things. Right? Hanged Man is someone that says, I need to hang out here for a while and think about things, see how I feel about things. To me, it's very much similar to the Queen of Swords here, but this, I think, is the spiritual message. This is what Spirit is trying to tell you. That we can't be in either extreme of accepting everything blindly, right? Maybe like this, accepting everything blindly, or rejecting everything blindly, right? So it's a suspension of judgment until we can get a more accurate perception of things. And yes, accuracy is relative too. Truth and falsehood are relative. Ultimately meaningless when we get high enough up, that we get to this Mercury energy. There is no truth and falsehood. There's no difference between the two. But how it translates, how it plays here in the material realm is very much real. So the Hanged Man in the environment, this is what it's time for. It's time for you to suspend your judgment, which means this Princess of Swords needs to put down the dagger, right? Put down the weapon and hear me out, right? That's the message. I don't know what the details are, but that's the overall broad strokes kind of message here. And look at that next card. It has the Ace. That's truth, right? This is your personal truth, your relative truth. This is us maybe reaching that enlightenment where we realize that truth and falsehood are no different, but how we interpret it, right, how we utilize it, makes all the difference in the world, right, in the physical world, right, literally. So we've got the end. This is the position of what we're rejecting. This is what we don't want. So it's almost like we would rather live in either extreme. And in this case, I think right now, you'd rather live in this, I'm just going to say no and reject everything so that I don't get taken advantage of, so that I don't get misled, so that I don't give my power to whatever these falsehoods are, whoever the messenger is. It's kind of like we're defending the emperor, which is silly. The emperor doesn't need any defending. But we're out here in front thinking that we're on the front line against any kind of data coming in and affecting the emperor. Well, if the emperor is a true emperor, the emperor is not going to be swayed by this data. It's all useful. Truth and falsehood is useful, right? So the emperor understands the importance of this enlightenment, this transcending, this duality of true or false, yes or no, good or bad. If the emperor is a real emperor, then the Princess of Swords kind of wasting their time, wasting their efforts, right? Trying to filter information by not allowing any information in. Well, that's kind of keeping the emperor in the dark, right? How can the emperor be an emperor if no one's telling the emperor, like what's going on in the realm, right? If the emperor's just kind of kept away in their bedroom or whatever, they don't get any information. Now the advisors come in, they communicate things to the emperor. They don't know if it's true or false. It's up to the emperor to decide what is useful, but the emperor knows that it doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's all just data. The important thing is how we translate that data into actions that make a difference in our lives. Right? Depends on what you're trying to do. If this is a business thing, if this is a family relationship thing. We're trying to be constructive here. It doesn't matter so much if the data that we're receiving, because you can make the argument that any data we receive is distorted, tainted, false, illusory, right? You can make that argument. You can make the other argument that everything we receive through our senses is absolutely true, right? No matter what. So there's no point in living in either extreme, because we're either accepting everything blindly or rejecting everything blindly, and that's not the idea here. The final card is the Knight of Swords. This is now taking this realization, not worried so much about the air. There's too much air here. We're too wrapped up in this sifting through the data, trying to determine what's true and what's not. We just need to use what is useful and act. The emperor needs all the data, and we'll decide what the appropriate action is. Doesn't matter if the data is incorrect or correct or good or bad. Doesn't matter. I know that sounds silly, and it's meant to be a little silly. What is silly is that we're so wrapped up in all of this air energy that we're literally not doing what we need to do. It's just we should just get rid of all of these cards and just say, look, you've got to start taking action. You've got to make decisions. Take charge. Start deciding something to change your circumstances, to make progress, to advance your life in the direction that you choose. This is the basic message here. All right. Well, let's look at the mystery card now. I'd like everybody to play along if you want. Thank you, Kevin, a.k.a. Mr. Bates. Now, we are going to, I'll go ahead and put it on the overhead camera. We're just going to see if we can intuit together what this card might be. So if you want to pause the video, go ahead. I'm hoping that, collectively we can do this, maybe every reading as an exercise. We'll all see if we can do this. So if you want to pause the video, leave a comment in the comment section. Or if you're busy, just kind of say it to yourself or whatever. I kind of think that this is going to be, I think maybe the moon energy, right? The moon card would be your power card, right? The Pisces power card. And I think that is really a symbol. That moon energy is a symbol of us not having that clarity, not knowing everything, not having that sunlight to show the truth of everything. We see what everything is, where it is, and the truth of it all. That we're accepting that things are just unknown, that it's just, everything is darkness, right? What we perceive through the senses is not reality. It's just our little already filtered information. So I think this will be the moon card, your power card, and that's showing that we're using a different kind of perception. Yeah, we're getting out of this air energy, and we're starting to act and perceive and make these decisions from maybe a more real place. That's what I think. Let's see. No, it's not. It's the Hermit. But the Hermit is that Virgo energy. And Virgo is your opposite sign, right? If you look at the astrological wheel, you've got Pisces, you've got Virgo directly across. It's your opposite. It's your shadow. It's your alter ego. It's the silent self. It's the unknown version of you. Maybe it is kind of the opposite of all of this air energy. Maybe this is kind of what I was talking about, but I was wrong about the Moon card. It should be the Hermit card. Because the Hermit now is that energy that is kind of withdrawn from all of the sense impressions of the world, right? Kind of has retired from social life, in a sense. So to me, the Hermit is not being swayed by all of this data coming in, right? It's all equal, so it doesn't matter. Acting from your own guiding light, your own enlightenment, your own transcended perception, that's how you become the Emperor and how you can act and make decisions and move forward out of this Seven of Pentacles. Right? Maybe we're rising above all of this air energy and we're finding this guiding light, our inner light of consciousness, of awareness, of spiritual vision and perception, right? And maybe it's the opposite. This is kind of the opposite of what we're doing now, right? Very interesting. We are going to do an extended reading, Pisces. If you want to stick around, click either above or below in the description box. New readings come out every day, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next reading. I want to thank you for watching this video all the way through until the end. That really helps out the algorithm, which in turn helps out the channel. Okay, so I appreciate that. I want to thank you for letting me read for you. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.